Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Packer Universe podcast. This is the first takeaway with Tay and Ren. This is a victory first takeaway. The Packers held off the LA Rams in LA this afternoon. It was a 3:25 game. The Packers came out on top, but it didn't really seem like that for a lot of the game, Ren. But I guess I'll get your first take right away, and you can bounce it back to me. But it took until the very, very end again in classic Packer fashion to get this one in the books. Maybe everyone was on the edge of their seat here in Green Bay area, Appleton area, but yeah, another one of those, right? Like we get another one of those to the very end things where they could have lost, very easily lost a game where they should have handled it very, very well and put the Rams away. But we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, first takeaway, Ren. What are your feels about this?
Oh man, I had to take a break away. You and I were talking off the mic from spinning a little honey. Yes, I was doing that in my garage. Corey Banking and I were just general gardeners, and I don't know if Corey is spinning honey yet from his beehives, but I was doing that in my garage. And it was I'm listening to the game. Wayne, I, and the Big Mac, Larry McCarron, and I'm like, shit, the Rams getting the ball back, and I got to go sit on the porch for this last little bit. I'm not feeling great about it. It's like 3 minutes to go. They got way too much time, Tay. Way too much time. But let's rewind the clock. And how do we get there? And the reason I say that when I want to go outside and listen to this is heartbreak Thursday night. The Brew Crew hits 2 back-to-back home runs. I believe it was in the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th, and they get through the 8th, get 2-0 going into the 9th, got the closer coming in, and he's one of the best in the business, and ultimately gives up the 3-run home run. Leading to this game, this last 3 minutes, I'm like, oh God. So I go out, sit outside, but how do we get back to the beginning? Well, you've got 2 teams that start 3 and out. And then Jordan Love, the Packers have their best drive of the season. Longest drive of the season, 96-yard, 9-play drive, culminating, I think that was the Jay Reed touchdown. Great play.
The big pass to Jay Reed.
Great play. You see Edgerrin Cooper getting more time. What I asked for on my maybe a little bit too rambunctious episode on the pup list last time, Tay. I was asking for let's get the young guys in. Let's get them play. They need to be out there. The Javon Bullards, the Edgerrin Coopers of the world, the Evan Williams. These guys need playing time. And you see that amazing sack by Edgerrin for his first in the NFL. That was great, dude. Just up the middle, almost loses him by that bit of the shirt, but is able to pull him down. The Packers, before I get there, but Jordan throws. He was just facing heavy pressure in this game today. He throws that ill-advised pick, but they're deep in the in their territory, and he's got nothing to do, dude. They took a page out of the Vikings. They're facing 7-8-man fronts, and they got nothing to spell for it. It's like, come get them. It was awful. And he threw his first ever pick six.
Yeah.
No good. Now you're down 13 to 7 because they missed the extra point. I think Keyshawn got a finger on one, possibly is what they said, but you got to figure that stuff out. 88 yards rushing for the Rams in the first half, Tay. I think Kyron finished with well over 100 yards, but
102.
Okay, there you go. 102, 4.7, 4.8 yards to carry. He was too much. The Packers' run D, Tay, is just not good. It's not been good through 5 games. They need to be so much better. Halfley's got to get that figured out. They are one of the worst run teams in the NFL. It's easy. I mean, if a run, you got a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, they're going to get it. It doesn't matter who you have up there. They have not figured it out. It's not been good. But getting to that second half of the game, Tay, Um, huge third down on the first possession of the second half for the Rams. They get down there, but then Enigbare, Rashawn Gary apparently didn't play in this game today. I was not aware, but J-Jets, like we got a different JJ the Jet playing here, but JJ Enigbare just killing it. That was huge. Punches it out from Kyron. And what do we know? Just a few plays later, Tucker Kraft goes 66 yards for a touchdown. Player of the game, offensively, Tucker Kraft. No doubt about it, because he goes on to get his second, a quarter later. Professor X, let's make the shirt stay. I coined it. He is Professor X. 5 in 5 games. I don't care what somebody wants to say about that pick in the Vikings game. Was it a pick? Was it not a pick? Don't matter to me. It was a pick. They said it was a pick. So the man and he tied a Packer record. I want to say Aaron Nagler said it. The only guy to do that in 5 straight games was the Green Bay Packer in 1943. So harkens back a day or two, Tay. But the scariest thing, the Rams begin another drive late, and you get that Colby Wooden / was it Colby? No, it was Carl Brooks and Kenny Clark get that huge third down sack on that last drive of the game. Essentially, the Rams had way too much time. You knew Packers never get the ball back. So this is either the Packers stop it, or again, we have the Brewer woes as Thursday night. We walk away. I don't need 2 of those type of nights in my week. I really don't. Can't handle it. I don't need to be that bummed. But huge third down, and then you get Evan Williams on 4th down, breaking it up, the rook. But man, what a game! Give it to the young guys. Bullard's flying around. Evan Williams, obviously, yes, he is. Put him in the conversation. The second greatest free agent signing in Green Bay Packer history. Xavier McKinney. These guys are integral to the defense. Let these young guys cook. Edrin Cooper, the more he plays, the better he gets. That's why I talked about it as well. I was a little edgy about it on our show on Wednesday. They just need to get these guys more time, and half needs to figure out the run, man. They can't do it. Jordan's been not great, but they're playing him out of the shotgun all the time, and teams are just teeing off this guy, Tay. They're just crushing it. When Jordan was under center last year, that's when it was working best, and I hope that he can get back to that, because we did see that little bit. What was it? He had a 12-yard scamper at one point in the game, so
down.
You got to feel like he's getting close. Let's start to see that offense work under center the way it did late in the season last year. Less of this shotgun stuff. It's not looking good. He just looks hesitant. Don't really have much more to say about it, but hey, a gritty win. You get a win on the road against, mano a mano, McVay, LaFleur against the other LaFleur. You got to feel good about it. It's a win. They're 3-2. You'll take it all day, every day.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there, Ren. This was not a pretty win, but a win nonetheless to bring them to 3-2, which is a great place to be, especially when you're coming in to take on opponents like, Arizona, who had an upset win today against the Niners, but still that's doable. I think things can still be looking up for us in terms of record in the next few weeks. But yeah, I mean, you don't have everyone playing well at times in this game, and you have some bright spots here and there. So we're seeing this this is what the Packers could be all the time, but then you kind of like regress and you get into these. I think they in 3 straight possessions they punted in the second quarter and the first quarter combined. But yeah, the first 2 outings for both teams was a 3 and out, and then you hit that long, awesome first drive with the Pack, and you're like, this is it. They're gonna do what we thought they were gonna do in this Rams game, and then just have their way and play some good football. But then it really was stagnant, and then that pick 6 by Love that was brutal. It was early too, but they struggled to kind of bounce back off of that. But give credit to the Packers. I mean, they did eventually do that. And then it took him into the early third quarter with the fumble recovery to kind of like put things back into shape. And that third quarter was definitely dominated by the Packers. Then you get into this classic Packers stuff where, they couldn't pull out some drives. They couldn't pull out some stops. I mean, Kyren Williams had their way with the defense. They could not stop any short gains from him at all, ever through the whole thing. It was just like, give him a first down, give him a first down. So the Rams just felt like they were getting first downs all the time. And some of those things are just typical Packer stuff where the tight end's wide open on the seam and in towards the sidelines. It's like, okay, here we go again. But you didn't on the offensive side of the ball. You didn't have Watson with injury. You didn't have Dobbs with suspension. So you're working with some of these younger players, which we're fine with. Like you and I are both fine with. Most of Packer universe is fine with. They have the depth at wide receiver, especially when you can put the cherry on top with Kraft. Bing, like the guy was a stud today. So Jordan could play a little better. The run game I thought was still good. I like the run game. Like we're second still in the league right now in rushing yards. I love that. We need to rely on that. But yeah, you're right. There's some things that need to be worked out with Love and the whole situation with that offensive passing game. But I think that will come into its own. Maybe Jordan's still trying to get into that way of things where he's got the game in front of him. Things are slowing down, but maybe right now with that pass rush today, things were a little bit complicated for him. He did run well, so maybe you're right. Maybe he's getting there with his health, and he's able to go under center more, which would be great. But the run game is there. The run game is helping balance that offense. So I love to see that. But yeah, Wicks towards the end of the game, all of a sudden had like lead hands, and you're just like, dang. Like you needed those, right? You needed those to put the game away. But I want to shout out to my my boy Narv Dog, right, Ren? He put one through the uprights.
46 yarder, Tay.
36. Everyone's just holding their breath, but they were all right up the middle. Yeah. So maybe that page is turned for us. Maybe we don't have to go back to that and just like wonder every week, should we get rid of our kicker or not? But cripes, congratulations, Brandon. Like, way to go. Like you put off
Braden,
our doubts for
Braden.
one more.
You said Brandon, but Braden.
Yeah, let's go, Braden. And let's get some through the uprights. So yeah, you put off our hate for at least another week.
Well, I think he lived to play at least one more week.
Yes. Yeah. I just want to point out Stokes. I thought he's the lesser of the cornerbacks. I know Nixon can be boomer bust sometimes with his coverage. He goes in for the hits sometimes. Sometimes he's flying around. And
Nixon's a playmaker, man. He'll make plays.
But with Stokes, he's kind of on the hot sheet for on the hot list here. As in like, dude, you've got to start pulling your weight. A lot of those big gains, those big plays come against Stokes. So it's tough to see Jair on the sidelines and knowing that that's who should be out there playing in Stokes' position and covering up things. So I hope Ja can get out there. We need him. I mean, the Stokes thing cannot keep going and last this long. We're gonna have super big problems here. But yeah, that's kind of like what I've got. On the game, Ren, but like again, it was like classic 2-minute the last 2 minutes of the game Packers game. It was just like, oh, is this gonna work? What are we doing here? Are we gonna win this game or lose this game? And obviously with the W, it makes you feel a lot better about things, and it makes you kind of push some of that stuff under the rug, but it makes you feel better, of course. But if this was an L, I don't know. We would be like nitpicking every little thing here, and maybe we will. We like to sit on this win or the latest game for a few days and then do a regular podcast, and things kind of like even out, and you kind of can see some film on some things. But they didn't play awesome today. They didn't play great. I mean, they played good, and they played good enough to win against the Rams, which we called and we thought they were going to beat this team. But they struggled a lot more than I thought they were going to. But this is the NFL. These are two professional football teams with two good head coaches that know each other. So what else were we going to get except a good competitive game? And I think that's what we got here. So for what it was, even with the dub, it was fun to watch. and a lot of things were going on. So yeah, that's all I got, Ren.
I mean, a couple things to piggyback off of what you said there, Tay. Wicks sucked today, Tay. He was not good. Yeah, he's got to play way better than that. Jay Reed's living up to the billing. I mean, he's there available. I mean, they're running him out of, so many different looks, and he's effective consistently. He's a backbone of the offense at this point. He really is. A lot of the stuff's running through him, and great. That's what you like to see. You don't want to hopefully rely on that a little too much. Tucker, hey, we found our, Kelsey. Have we found our Mark Andrews? Maybe, Tay. I think so. I think Tucker Kraft's the real deal. It's taken a long time. We thought it might be Lucas Musgrave, the guy they took a little in front of him. Lucas is generally not available. Availability, Tay. We know what that is. Best ability. You point out a lot of good things, but they got to clean some stuff up. You mentioned third quarter. They played great. You thought this game was going to get out of reach. There were just a couple of drives. They need to just bang another field goal in, and it's done. But this Rams team, we mentioned going into the conversation last week, 20, 18, and 10 in their losses. 19 today, Tay. This is what the Rams team does, but this is a team that the Packers have played the last 4 years in a row. It's becoming a pretty big, just general rivalry, standard every year game, Rams-Packers. Matt LaFleur has gotten the better of every one of those thus far against Sean McVay. So good on that with his former boss. But, hey, anytime, again, you travel, that's a long way out west. You could hear the home cooking throughout the game. I heard it on the radio while I was smoking some bees out in the backyard, all that good stuff we were talking about at the mic. But you like that. You got to love it. But, hey, it's a good win. I don't care. It was sloppy. There are a couple things that got to clean up. Again, that run defense. Jordan's got to play better. I think they got to play call a little bit better, even from an offensive standpoint. But your boy Romeo, we'll get that one on the pup list, Tay. You are the front and center Romeo Dobbs fan club. And let me tell you, my man, after everything that came out, has got to get his head right, because he is a good football player and a big contributor to this football team. And they certainly missed him today. And I got to say, a little disappointed in that whole transgression to end the little first take today.
Yeah, I think we all are. And I think he missed an opportunity today to prove himself to everybody, including himself. So yeah, I think today was a missed opportunity for him. But we will definitely dive into that during our normal podcast during the week. We'll record that later on. So stay tuned for that. We appreciate everyone listening, watching, and subscribing. We appreciate your support for that. So thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in to the Pup List, the Packer Universe podcast. Send us an email if you want to contact us, info@packeruniverse.com. All right, Ren, thanks for joining me after the game.
Yeah, Tay, good to talk to you. I see you're out there in Lambeau Field. So until next time, Tay, on the Pup List.